I moved into the apartment because it was cheap and quiet. Too quiet, maybe. The kind of building where the lights flicker and the walls remember more than they should. The landlord didn't ask questions. He just handed me the keys and said, "You'll like it here. Nobody bothers anybody." That sounded perfect. I was tired of being noticed. Tired of being pulled into other people's storms. I wanted stillness. I wanted control. What I got instead was him. The first night I heard footsteps above me. Low. Heavy. Not pacing. Not wandering. Just standing there for a long time. I told myself it was nothing. Old pipes. Old floors. Old building noises. But when I looked up at the ceiling, I had the strangest feeling that someone was looking back down at me. Studying me through concrete and silence. On the third night, I met him in the stairwell. He was coming down as I was going up. We stopped on the same step. Too close. Too sudden. He didn't say excuse me. Didn't move aside. Just looked at me like he already knew me. "You're in 3B, he said. My heart skipped. "How do you?" "Your light stays on late," he replied. "That's none of your business." He smiled slightly. Not friendly. Curious. "It is when you're right under me." I stepped past him, my shoulder brushing his coat. Cold. Heavy. Like he carried the night with him. When I reached my door, my hands were shaking. Not from fear. Not exactly. From awareness. The kind you get when you realize someone has already been watching you longer than they should. That night, I dreamed of footsteps again. But this time they stopped at my door. The next evening there was a note under my door. No name. No apology. Just 3 words written in neat, calm handwriting. "You were listening." My stomach tightened. I hadn't told anyone about the footsteps. I folded the paper and slipped it into my pocket like it might burn me if I held it too long. I tried to ignore him after that. Kept my head down. Took the elevator instead of the stairs. Left earlier. Came back later. But the building felt smaller now, like it had learned my shape. One night, the power went out for a few seconds while I was in the hallway. Just long enough for the lights to die and the dark to press in. When they flickered back on, he was standing at the end of the corridor. Closer than before. "You don't like the quiet as much as you thought," he said. "You don't know anything about me," I replied. "I know you count footsteps," he said. "And I know you pretend not to." I unlocked my door too fast. He didn't follow me. That was worse. He just watched like he'd already gotten what he wanted from the moment. Inside my apartment the air felt wrong. Charged. Like the walls were listening too. 2 nights later there was another note. This time taped to my door. "You don't close your blinds." I looked up at my window. Then at the ceiling. My pulse was loud in my ears. I pulled the note down slowly. My hands weren't shaking anymore. They were steady. Focused. Curious. I didn't sleep much that night. Not because I was afraid. But because I kept wondering how long he'd been watching. And why I hadn't stopped him yet. I stopped closing my blinds after that. Not because I forgot. Because I wanted to see if he'd notice. The city lights spilled into my room like water, painting everything in soft gold and shadow. I sat on the edge of my bed and waited. Not for him to come. Just to feel him watching. My phone buzzed at midnight. Unknown number. "Lights still on," the message said. My breath caught. I typed back before I could think. "So is yours." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Then, "Come upstairs." I didn't put on a coat. I didn't fix my hair. I just took my keys and went. The stairwell felt different at night. Smaller. Warmer. Like it was holding its breath with me. When I reached the 4th floor, his door was already open. Not wide. Just enough. He stood inside, leaning against the frame. Waiting. "You're brave," he said. "No," I replied. "I'm tired of pretending I'm not curious." He smiled. That same slow, unreadable smile. That's worse. Inside, his apartment was darker than mine. Cleaner. More controlled. No pictures. No clutter. Just space and intention. He closed the door behind me, not fast. Not slow. You could have stayed downstairs, he said. I could have, I agreed. But you didn't. I don't like unanswered questions. His eyes held mine. Then don't ask safe ones. We stood there, close enough that the silence had weight. Why the notes? Yes. Because you hear better when you're alone, he replied. And the watching. Because you don't mind being seen. That landed deeper than I wanted it to. He took one step closer. I didn't step back. You came up here to stop guessing, he said. Yes. Then stop. He didn't touch me. He just waited. Like the next move was mine to make. I didn't know what I expected him to do. Step closer. Touch me. Say something sharp and final. He didn't. He just watched. Like he was waiting to see who I'd become in the silence. My pulse slowed. Not from calm. From focus. I took one step forward. Then another. I stopped close enough that I could feel the heat of him. You're not in control, I said quietly. He lifted an eyebrow. No. You think you are, I continued. But you only have what I give you. Something shifted in his eyes. Interest. Real interest. He leaned back against the counter, crossing his arms. Then take it back, he said. That was the opening. I didn't rush it. I moved past him and looked out his window instead. The city below felt smaller from up here. Like a model of a life I could rearrange. You watch people, I said. But you don't let them close. He was silent. That's your control, I added. Distance. I turned to face him. And I just stepped into it. He studied me for a long moment. Then he smiled. Not slow. Not dark. Honest. You're wrong about one thing, he said. What? I don't need distance. He stepped toward me. Close. Too close. But different now. Less like a trap. More like a choice meeting another choice. I just needed someone who wouldn't disappear when I looked back. The words landed softly. Harder than anything else he'd said. I swallowed. So what now? Now, he replied. We stop pretending this is one-sided. He opened the door. The hallway waited. Go back downstairs, he said. And blinked. You're sending me away. I'm letting you decide if you're coming back, he corrected. I walked out on legs that felt steady for the first time since I moved in. Not because I was safe. 'Cause I was seen. I didn't go straight back to my apartment. I stood in the stairwell between floors, listening to the building breathe. Pipes clicked. A door closed somewhere below. Life small and ordinary kept moving. And for the first time since I'd moved in, I didn't feel like I was hiding inside it. Felt placed. Like I finally knew where I was standing. When I opened my door, the light from my window spilled across the floor. I didn't turn it off. I didn't close the blinds. I sat on the edge of my bed and waited again. Not for his message. Not for his footsteps. For myself. For the part of me that used to disappear when things got intense. She didn't show up. She stayed quiet. Let me sit there in the open. My phone buzzed an hour later. Unknown number. Still awake. I didn't answer right away. I stood. Took a breath. Then typed. So are you. This time I didn't wait for him to invite me. I locked my door and went upstairs like I already belonged there. His door wasn't open. I knocked once. Firm. Controlled. The door opened almost immediately. He looked surprised. Not that I came. How? You didn't text, he said. I didn't need to, I replied. He stepped aside. Me in. Inside nothing had changed. Same darkness. Same order. Same tension. But I didn't stop near the door. I walked deeper into the room. Claimed space. You watch people, I said. But you don't expect them to walk toward you. That depends, he answered. On what? On whether they're real. I met his eyes. I am. Silence. Then he nodded once. Low. Serious. Like something had just been decided without words. After that, the building didn't feel quiet anymore. Felt awake. Like it had been waiting for both of us to stop pretending. I didn't get smaller in the halls. I didn't rush past doors. I walked like someone who knew she was allowed to exist in the space she took up. He didn't follow me. He didn't chase me. He met me. And that was the difference. I moved into that apartment to be invisible. I stayed because I learned how to be seen. Not by him. By myself.